So, if you've ever been in a situation where it's time to go study and you can't get yourself to go study, you don't know exactly what it is you're supposed to do, you can't picture in your mind the exact program you're going to open or book you're going to open or activity that you're going to dive into, then you want to watch this quick video because you're going to have a problem with focus, efficiency, and eventually passing the bar. Let's get started. What do you do when you wake up every morning of bar prep, but you don't know what's ahead of you? Or you have a schedule ahead of you, but you look at the stuff and you're like, ugh, I do not want to do that. It seems like a task, it seems like a chore. What do you do if you are learning, and you know you should go practice some questions? You know you should go write some essays. You know you should practice your MPTs, but you cannot because you're saying, what if I get it wrong? What if I don't know enough? It's not going to be of any use anyway. I'm just going to freeze at the page. I'm just going to be looking at a blank screen. And you talk yourself out of taking the action steps to solidify your knowledge through practice. What that does is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You never practice enough, and when you go to take the actual exam, your lack of practice shows. We don't want that. When I talk with bar exam takers who have been around this study, fail, repeat cycle 2, 3, 4 times or more, what I find is one recurring theme. They don't have their bar prep plan dialed in with specificity, the kind of specifics necessary to really give you an edge and get you past repeated failures are 3 things. You need to know exactly what subject you're going to study on a daily basis. That needs to actually be put down on paper, not just, oh, I think I'll study torts today. Like, you actually have to have on your calendar exactly what subject will be studied on that day, and you need to have a reason for why it's going to be studied. Now, in our community, we teach a specific strategy for spacing out your subjects so that you don't end up 2 weeks before the exam date and you can't remember what you studied 2 months ago. That doesn't fly, and we don't do it like that around here. We show you exactly how to rotate your subjects so that you do not forget a thing. Every subject stays fresh. And if you want to know what miracle is this that could allow such a thing to occur, then you definitely want to look for the link below to go ahead and click into that and see how we make that happen. The second thing you need to dial in your plan with specificity and get out of this study, fail, repeat cycle is you need to know exactly what strategies you will use to study. So you get your big box bar review and they hand it to you and they say, okay, now go study. Here's the subject. Here's what you need to do every day. Go study. And as some people would say, studying looks different for everybody. What exactly do you mean go study? Some people will run off and write an outline. Some people will run off and watch 5 hours of lectures. Some people will run off and do who knows what they're doing, making flashcards. I don't know. How do you know what you should go run off and do? This is one crucial factor that you need to have dialed in with specificity to the point where when you look at your calendar, and I'm a visual learner. I love paper calendars so I can see exactly what's happening. To the point where you look at your calendar and you see subject, study strategies, study supplies, all that stuff. But most importantly, you need to make sure that it's tailored to you, which brings us to the third crucial factor that you need. You need to know your study personality. You need to know your study personality. This is the only way that you're going to ensure that when you sit down to study, you actually enjoy what's ahead of you. And that is what's going to get you out of the study, fail, repeat cycle. Going to your study every day like a chore is not going to work out. This is the thing that's going to make you feel like you have to force yourself to the study table every day. And willpower will only take you so far. And so you'll maybe high flying in the first 2 weeks of motivation. Maybe the 3rd week and the 4th week, you're going off of just willpower. And I know I'm supposed to do this, but eventually you'll miss something. You'll miss a day. Somebody will get sick, or you just don't feel like studying. And one day turns into 1 week. Instead, if you knew your study personality and you tailored your bar prep to yourself in these 3 ways, rotating subjects so you never forget a thing, picking out the exact strategies that work for your brain. I call that your learning superpower, and there's more about that in the link below. And tailoring your studies to your study personality. If you do all three of those things, you could finally be able to focus, feel confident, know exactly what you're doing each day and why you're doing it. This is really important for some of us. Some of us are not good with just rote, just do it because we said. Like most lawyer types aren't that type of person. Most lawyer types need to have the reasoning behind it. Yeah, yeah. And so if you need that, then you need to get your study prep dialed in the way that we show you inside Bar Exam Ready. Click below to find out more about that so that you can get that in place. Once you get that in place, that's when I tell people you can observe if you have some real mindset issues going on and whether or not you need to now upgrade, move yourself into our coaching programs. Because once you have this beautiful study plan in place, and let me tell you something, people who get this study plan in place, they're like cheering, celebrating, throwing a party because they never knew they could feel so good about bar prep. This far exceeds any kind of feelings you thought you had when you received your books in the mail from, insert name of big box bar review here. This is a far out feeling of joy because you are finally going to study in a way that honors your heart. That's how we get you to study here. But once you get all that in place, and despite the excitement, despite the perfect fitting study schedule that fits you like your favorite pair of jeans, despite all that stuff, you still are having trouble following through with your commitments to yourself and you're breaking promises to yourself and you're feeling bad left and right because you're not doing what you know that you can now easily do. Now there's a mindset issue. Now is a time that you might think it's a good time to talk with Jennifer. Probably is. So there's another link below. If you've already dialed in your bar prep plan and you're still pumping the brakes and sabotaging yourself, let's get down to the bottom of what's really going on underneath the surface. But what I've found is for many people out there, half of what you think is a mindset issue is really just a scheduling issue. So just go get yourself a really dialed in bar prep plan. We help you do that and then see how you feel afterwards. Now, I'm not leaving you hanging. Once you go get that, you will receive an invitation to come into our VIP bar prep community where you will be able to do Q&As with me, and I'll come on live like this, but inside a private setting, and I'll help you to decipher what's going on with you next with your studies, what roadblocks that you're running into, and just help you feel generally solid about following through with the plan that you've come up with, because this year is a winning plan. That's what I got for you. Check below for the links. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.